Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time to join us today for this business workshop. My name is Angela and I will be your MC today. Before we start, we wish to acknowledge that the land on which we're gathering on today is Treaty 6 territory, a traditional meeting ground and home for many Indigenous peoples, including Cree, Saulteaux, Nisaptipi, Métis, and Nakota Sioux people. We have with us today Mahamad Accord, CEO, founder of Takalisa Institute, a nonprofit corporation that assists underserved populations of low-income and newcomer Canadian families. We welcome and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to assist and support our community at this event, especially during these difficult times. We would also like to thank you all who have come out to participate today and hope that you're able to learn and gain support from these sessions. Before we begin our session, I'd like to start with a few virtual housekeeping remarks to explain how this event will proceed. We ask that you please keep your microphones muted during the presentation to avoid background noises. Please feel free to ask questions throughout the session if you have any as well, and this session will be recorded and only to be used by the SCCSE. Therefore, if you do not wish to be recorded, please feel free to leave the session. In addition, I would like to thank the City of Edmonton, Service Canada, for their generous contributions that allowed us to make this event happen today. Just a few words about the organization for those who are not familiar. The SCCSE has been operating for over 30 years. We provide various programs and services for youth, seniors, women, and families where we strive to develop our community's traditional values and sense of belonging. Among our programs are the Iftin Grad, summer camps including an out-of-city camp called Camp Toso, seniors program including a new sewing club for women and seniors to learn how to professionally sew and maybe sell their products in the future. Also, we offer settlement programs where we help the community with their immigration papers and issues. And finally, we offer employment and volunteering opportunities every year for youth. Once again, I would like to express a huge thank you to all of you attending our session. Now I'd like to introduce Mr. Mahamad Accord, CEO, founder of Taccalusa Institute. Mr. Accord is a forward-thinking community advocate dedicated to the mission and purpose of the Taccalusa Institute. He has graduated from NAIT and studied at SAIT. He has a wide range of expertise and experiences with contributors as well as various skills to enhance the integration strategies in Alberta, Canada. His qualifications and experiences include director of a nonprofit organization, national advocacy presenter, engagement of 3-level government agencies on issues related to integration, justice and law enforcement, youth violence, victims' rights, barriers of economic, cultural, social issues, and effective media presentations. He has also had experience in human resource management, project management, corporate and nonprofit formation. Welcome, Mr. Accord.
Thank you, Angela. I kind of feel, you're talking to somebody else. I've never been described in that way. So thank you again for doing that and giving me. First of all, I would like to thank Somali Canadian Cultural Society for giving me this opportunity to at least share some of my knowledge and something that close to my heart, which is seeing people, especially those people who are new to Canada, getting started business and creating jobs for them and also creating wealth for themselves and their family. So it's really honor to take whatever small part it is to share with you what I learned in a few years that I try to help some of the organization or individuals that was seeking to establish some business for them and for their family. Some of the businesses that I pursue include I don't know who muted that, but I was, hi. I have to start all over again. I didn't know that my microphone was muted.
No, your mic just got muted. It like just muted.
Oh, okay. So some of the businesses that I participated was as I told you, the daycare, store, cafeteria, and also I help people to establish cooperation and non-profit cooperation and society and those things. Those give me opportunity to learn how to open or operate business here in Edmonton, Alberta, and sometimes Canada. I help people to register federally, professionally, and municipally. One of the things that really challenges me is that when when you try to establish business here and you're new to the country, even if you're not, if you are born Canadian or it's intimidating. I'm telling you, all in. If you look at the business, you see business operating for you maybe looking easy, but whoever goes through that establishing businesses, whether it's a corporation or personal business, is a huge responsibility, and the liability and the potential to fail is huge. But that doesn't mean that if you try, there's no reward if you succeeded. There is huge reward. I tell many people that even if you open, if you have operate shoe shiner, it's good to be in business. Business, if you're successful in any way and do the right thing with the luck, the reward is very huge for you but there is a sacrifice. I told many times that people like to go to heaven, but they don't want to die. That's impossible to have, not to die, but also go to heaven. It means that you have to sacrifice if you really want to enjoy the reward that own your business and operating and striving. If you want to enjoy that, you have to sacrifice, and there is a lot of sacrifice. Family, your time, health, you worry. So I was there. The other thing is sometimes you think that getting everything, I mean, sometimes Murphy's law comes to the play, which means everything that could go wrong will go wrong. But I tell many times people, don't panic. You're not going to lose your life. So that means that the only thing that you do is you fail, but you learn from it. And there's no, it's good to sometimes learn from your mistakes, even though it may be expensive for you or you may never recover, but at least you learn from that. So that's my biggest advice that I took away from there. So again, my name is Mahamad Accord. I founded and I'm the president and CEO of Taccalusa Institute. It's the organization that forward-thinking leadership. That means you think ahead, today, tomorrow, and the next maybe century. That's where I would like to strive, that having a long vision. So if you would like to contact me, this is my address, or the address of the organization. If you call any of those numbers, somebody will answer you. Maybe there's answer machine, but you definitely we're gonna call you back. Today, our topic is that starting business here in Edmonton, Alberta, and Canada. Again, all of you welcome. If you have a question, please either wait the question and answer period, which means end of the workshop, or during the presentation, you can use the chat room menu and send me the email. Or if you raise the hand, then or I think where Angela will recognize you and let you speak.
Yeah,
Again,
I will.
welcome. Yes. Most of my work and the work of the Taccalusa Institute comes to the impacting project. Those projects that impact the community, especially those community who are marginalized. For example, board governments. You know that most of our nonprofit or profit or whatever it is has a way of it has to have a people who govern it. So sometimes what happens, people don't plan it, or sometimes when they operating, they have an issue. So you have to know what how to govern the business or non-profit organization or non-profit company or whatever. You have to know that. So we train them, we share with our knowledge. The other thing is that customized workshops like the one we're doing that. If people ask us to have a workshop in a specific topic that interesting in specific community, we develop that and share with that, because there is a huge resources available to us, because there is a lot of people who have skills. The other one we look is social enterprise. Those organizations that serve the community, sometimes they need income. So what happened is that we develop with them, like I told you that we develop one organization, non-profit organization, society organization with the daycare, another one with the cafeteria, another one with the gift shop, another one is the you know, arts and dresses. Also, one of or two of them, we help them to link with the social finance. There is an organization, one of the organization exists is called social enterprise funding. So that means is that, but sometimes it's not easy to access those one, but it need a little bit advocacy and help. The other thing that we advocate on, also we work with equity and inclusion. For example, how can we help organizations to make sure that they diversify their human resources or their resources, so that those are the things we share with them, especially in a position of people who are new to the country or racialized community. Also, we look at it in a way that we have to look in the other way of social innovation development, which means that we come up something that will address a specific interest. A couple of months ago, I was helping somebody who is specialized to a specific, you know, in needs for a specific community, which is really there is a need for it, but the people didn't know how to address that needs. And when I say needs is that if you've been here long time ago, Tim Horton and Second Cab and Starbucks were non-existent, but there were need for it. So what happened? Somehow somebody come up. There used to be a store when we need a coffee. We used to go Dunkin' Donut, which it wasn't great. It wasn't having great coffee. But all of a sudden, Tim Horton came in and they can say address specific needs that wasn't visible to most of the people. Right now, everybody want to have Tim Horton or Starbucks or Second Cup. So that shows that sometimes people come up social innovation to address a specific issue. So those are the area that we like, and there is many other ways. The experience and the skills and the resources we have here in Taos Institute is unlimited. So if there is anybody who's thinking about establishing a corporation or non-profit company or non-profit society or anything, we're willing to help you, no charge. The impact consultancy that we done by Taccalusa Institute provides consulting services designed to amplify the social impact of nonprofit organization, social enterprise, and social purpose businesses. Those are the things that has the impact, which means that the need is there in the community, so nobody's addressed, because most of the mainstream people, or most mainstream businesses may not know what specific needs that needed by the new Canadian new society to the community. So that somebody in the, for example, when we came here, there were no money transfer services available to our community. To send money to Somalia was wow. We used to send to the Geneva or other bank, and then somebody has to have an account there, and that's what I'm right now. You know, we took for granted. So those are the things that have impact services that we really want to develop. There is some many things. Right now, as you know, majority of Muslims, you know, don't take a loan because of the interest that involves. We are working on some of the company to come up ways to address that issue, because there is a huge need of people to buy houses or to open and operate businesses, but they cannot have enough money to open it, but at the same time they cannot go to the bank. Their credit score is very good. The banks willing to lend that money, but because of we are adhering to our faith, we are absent from that fund. Very few of us buy a house, and all of us we are capable of buying a house. We can afford it. Even our rent sometimes is expensive than house payment. But again, because of our faith, we have to hide it. So those are the issue that we want to see, that how we can do that. And there are so many other things that we are thinking about it by working with the Somali Canadian Cultural Society President, Mr. Jibril, that we were looking for, because it seems that we already chosen this country is our country. We also want to adhere to our faith. We want to see how we can get those two together. And plan our future and future of our children and family here. For us, for 5 years, the Taccalusa Institute has been strengthening the non-profit organization and social enterprise. For example, individual creativity, positive community impact, impact that consulting that leverage the experience and our knowledge. Taccalusa's staffs and the volunteers, and also an associate and the community that, you know, the network of our community, social innovator, we have it to strategically strategically scale in you. I mean, we meet the scales of the innovation and strategically placing our resources where we can make a most impact with the resources and the skills that we have. Steps to start small businesses. Most of the thing is that you have to research. That's what I tell them. But also evaluate yourself. That's where I started. I will start, which means that am I ready to open and operate businesses? Yes, everybody would like to have that, but sometimes you have to know that you may not have a capability of the knowledge of the skills that you can operate and open a business and do that. But before you do that, make research. After you decided that you want to open, then go and research, which means what kind of business you're looking for. So many issues. The second step will be make a plan. The third step is that how you're gonna finance, where you're gonna get in money. The other thing is that which kind of structure businesses that you will like to have it. The fifth is the beacon and register your business. That means that when you decided everything and you have money and you you already decided which kind of business you wanna have it, you're gonna have you have to register names. Then the second thing is that the license and permits, which is the biggest challenge. Most of the people stumble. We stumble that was the license, because each specific businesses have a specific license, and each of it. And sometimes one business is required to have a 10 or 20, 10 or 8 or 7 license in different level, from federal, province to municipality. The other thing is that you have to know is how you're gonna balance your book after you open and do that, and also how you spend your money, where to spend it, how much you spend it, and you know, make an account. The eighth step is to set up your business location. And when you say location, is the biggest challenge is that sometimes I say this one will be after you decided the money, you decided to open the business and you find location. This is the first one, zoning. Because how many times that we have seen a business, somebody get a location, make a lease with that location and find out this location, this zone location is not allowed because the zoning. The zoning, which means that either where you can place the businesses, whether the restaurant, whether this the stores, whether it's everything need a zoning, and zoning is controlled by either by the province or by the most of the times it's a municipality, and is very if I want to build, I'm thinking about opening business, location is the location is what I put in the biggest start, because it's very important before you do anything. After the thinking of the business, then the thinking is when you get a location, get your team. That means you're not going to operate by yourself. Well, if you have enough money to do everything and hire people, and that will be fine. But most of the people, those things are not available. You have a shoestring budget. That means sometimes you need a team that starts with your family, your partner, your wife, your kid. Sometimes those people don't see that, and having a team ready, or even your friend, is very important. The second is that after you open your store, promotion. This is the biggest mistake most of the people that I experience do that. They forget that ahead of that how to promote the business. They think that you build it, they will come. Maybe it's true to many years, but right now, no. People they wanna have a reason to come over there. They have to have a reason. And to get the first time in your stepping in your store or your restaurant or your business, that's what you want to get it. And then when you get it, keep it. So how you embrace, that's something that very difficult for most of the business to do, that they fail that. And that's it has attempting to do the reason why they fail, because of they forgot the biggest, which means the bills are coming, but there's no resource coming. because of we forget that to promote, and you have to know that if you look at television and television and radio, there is advertisement. Who's advertising? McDonald's. Why are they advertising? To get their business notice to the other people. You may not have that big a budget, but there is variety of way of doing that, because there is a people who need your business, but you have to know, you have to develop a way to outreach that, whether it's your community, whether it's your friend, whether it's your network, whether you have to. And sometimes people are not brave enough to do that. They are brave enough to open the business, but they're not brave enough to promote that. Is very, very important. In the number 10 is another stars. Okay, first step, do your search. That means when you decided to open your own business and identify the business idea, then you have to balance it with the literal reality, which means that, okay, it's good to have a big stores that sells this, and then you're doing business. That's a dream. But how are you gonna put in a practice? And it's very difficult. Even having a first step is a bit very difficult. The first question is does your idea have a potential to succeed, or does it have a merit? You will need to run your business idea through a validation process before you go any further. I mean, you have to know that. For example, if I want to open a food store, yes, people need to buy a food store, but why do they have to come your food store? What are you different than that? Because remember, at night when you get up in maybe midnight, the first thing come to you when you want to buy something is a 7-Eleven or Max or the gas station. Why? Because those people know exactly, because those are the time that people are very forced to find out. So that means they place their business in a process that the people between maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, up to in the morning before the stores open, where the people want to go to buy something if they need it. So that means that strategically that you have to go and validate, which means also there's some other ways of knowing that how many people are needed the product that you will sell it. Majority of the people that I noticed and people we were helping, they always concentrate on a specific community. No, this country, if you look at the mainstream, is the biggest market. And if you look at for example, let's say Somalis, how percentage are they in Edmonton? Less than 1%. So if I concentrate my business to that person, no, those people may come to my store, but the people that I will really to see if they are willing to buy my product will be majority of the public. So that's where the validation comes. So if I cannot sell it to the John Smith, I will never do that. I won't only do that. But if you're trying to have a niche, sometimes it works because the restaurants are there, but restaurants also sell to people who have non-Somalis and other things. People, when they tested our food of Somalis, they love it. So what I'm saying to validation comes with will the people buy? So it's very important. And also don't forget to ask yourself some questions too about starting your business before you take that plunge. Yes, your ability, your skills, your way of outreaching to other people, your way of promoting. Those are the things that you have to ask. You have to know yourself, because sometimes athletics, those people who are sports, they go training. They train, even and before they go to the big day. The same thing. Before you do that, hey, can I walk 5 in the morning up to 11 o'clock in the evening? Well, can I do that? about your health, about your family support. There's so many things that you have to evaluate yourself and your condition before you even go further. In order for a small business to be successful, it must solve a problem. I mean, that's what I'm saying to you, or fulfill a need, or other sometimes the market wants. So those are the questions that I was telling you that you have to know about it and get an answer for it before you even go further or take a plunge. There are a number of ways you can identify these needs, including research, focus group, and even trial and error. Sometimes you may, if you want to sell product, you might try to share with the people that you know and see if the people are interested before you even open the bigger shop. So you go to your people, the people who are close to you, people who know you, or the people who have a understanding of the market, or they have a better view of what's going on in the community. Again, when you are trying to explore those questions that I ask you, and also the market, some of the questions you should answering yourself and answering includes: is there a need for your anticipated product or the services? Who need it? Are there other companies offering similar product and services now? What's the competition like? How will how is your business will fit into that market? Sometimes people, if they, I mean, nobody having a McDonald's next to the burger and to other businesses. Sometimes there's no reason that they don't do that, because their market of the share, they know that. So that when you go there, there's a people who like McDonald's, and there is some people who like the Burger King. If you go to the malls, they have a food court. That food court, each of them will have their own marketing, even though they're the same approximity. So don't be discouraged because somebody else is selling. You may do better because the way you're selling, or the quality of your thing, and your promotion, and the way you are treat your customer. So don't be discouraged by some, but how you're gonna fit that and be competitive is one of the questions. The second step is make a plan. You need plan in order to make your business idea into the reality. Business plan is blueprint. That's not something that most of the people don't underestimate, that having a business plan. Everywhere you go, well, those people who even want to borrow money, that's a must. I mean, or getting a loan. But even if you're not asking somebody else, you have to have a business plan, because there is a people who ever want to be part of your business, want to know what's your business plan. So you have to. And business plan is what you have in your head. It's not something else. There's a people who are professional of writing a business plan, but they will never be the same as your business plan, because you know your intuition, you know what you want to do it, how you want to do it. But sometimes you also need other skills, how to organize your idea and how to put there. That means the cash flow, expenses, how you gonna run your money, your business while you still picking up, the design, all those things. But again, that is the plan. That's the roadmap for your and the guidance of your business. A startup phase through establishment and eventually business growth, and it must have a full all new business. So what I'm saying to you is that the challenges is that there is a people who are professional how to do their business plan. They talk about your idea, finding a zoning and location up to the finish and opening the place. That what you have to put that blueprint. That means that, you know, tomorrow I'm gonna do this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. That's what is called business plan. It's a whatever you have in your head plus how to do it is what is the business plan. The good news is that there is a different type of business plan for different type of business. That means that it depends on what kind of business that you're going. There is a commonality, but there is also difference. If you intended to seek financial support for an investor or financial institution, a traditional business plan is must. So that means that there is a required business plan that you have to follow if you're looking for financial. But even if you're not seeking for financial, it's good to have a business plan. If you don't plan business plan, then you fail to do business. That's what it is. So you have to have it. It must. The traditional business plan is typically business plan is generally long and through and has a common set of sections, and that innovative and banks. That's what I'm saying to you. There is a set of rules that you have to follow, and those people on the banks, they want to look through those steps. If you don't fill up those things, they won't even consider. For example, this is what I'm talking about. If you're not, most of us, if you don't anticipate seeking financial support, a simple one-page business plan can give you clarity about what you hope to achieve and how you plan to do it. In fact, you can even create a working business plan on the back of napkin. That's what I'm saying to you. But you have to put, in order for you to visualize and realize your dream, you have to put it in the paper. It's very difficult, but if you put there, that means you can always go back to see what you put in there if you are following up. So it's a roadmap. It's for example, if I want to go today to the downtown, which road I'm going to take it. There is several roads that I can take it, but which one will I take it? There is a one I straight. It takes me less time, and also there is another way of I can go and has less traffic. The other way that I like it. So it's a roadmap. That's what I'm saying to you. I can keep coming back to the roadmap. Some kind of planning is always better to have nothing. That means that you better to have a plan because it gives you a reference. So that anytime you deviate, because sometimes when you are walking and you're narrowing, you're focusing, you forget the other side, the surroundings. So what I'm telling you is that it gives you reference. That means you coming back instead of going the other way. But which is obviously we did so many times that, and it will cost you. It's a costly when you don't have a plan and you keep not coming as a reference, because you cannot think everything by your thing, by your head, because there's so many other things going on in your head that will replace what you're supposed to do next time, and you forget that. That's why I'm saying to you is that opening your business plan after you maybe have a coffee and look at it, that will give you a refreshment that what you have to do next. So usually when you starting up, when you decided to start a business, usually they call startup cost. That money is what you're gonna do in order to have a even realization of the business. Usually is the leasing the place, contractor, or if you're not buying existing business, that means you have to develop your place. And also the equipment and the material, the first material that you send, it's a cost, it's called startup cost. That means to start up. And then second thing will be is that cash flow to run that business. So this is something that you have to estimate, because this is you have to have in order to have the business. Yes, that's the money I'm talking about. The license, the permit, the equipment, the legal fee, insurance, branding, marketing, search, inventory, trademarking, all 9 yards. Those are the things that you have to have money in order to have the business that you want to open, that or you are anticipating. This is what the thing that also very challenge some people to imagine, that you have to run your business quite sometimes 6 or 12 months in order to have break even. So that means that if you are successful in a couple of months, fine, but you have to plan long time that you may not get enough money to money coming in. That means you have to pay the bills, because there are so many people that open the business, but next time they couldn't pay they couldn't run it because of the shortage of cash flow. So this is what I'm talking about. So having a 12-month rent, the guy will come in and shut down. How many times I've seen a person that opened the business and then he couldn't pay the rent, and the guy came in with a brand new business, brand new place, and develop, and he locked up. The next time he can sell somebody for the fraction of what when you do that. So again, you have to anticipate that after the cash startup, you have to have a cash flow. Cash flow, which means that the money that you're going to run this thing, including the other thing that I will say, but the rent and utility and the salary of the employee and the expensive. Those are the very important, including your salary, which means you have to pay your bills at home. There's no money coming other ways. So sometimes that's where you have to plan that how you're gonna run the business before you open it, because when you open it, you already investment, you already deep into the problem, so that you cannot think about it there. People who have investors, they combine that, but I think most of the people, they first think about how to open it, and then they think later. But if you are smart and if you are experienced, this two number has to be together. That means how much it will all help you to open the business, and how much to run it combined for 12 months. That's the opening, the cost of the business running, including your expense, if you have a family, even more whatever responsibility you have it, you have the money, have money. Having an opening business but forgetting to pay your bills, that's a no-no. I won't advise anybody. But you have to know where those 12 months your expenses, who's gonna cover. So you have to know that. Now, the rough-minded, there can be a number of ways. There are several ways of doing that, which means that maybe regular people will go to the financing or a small loan, or sometimes there is a business grant available, or angel investors. That means somebody will say, oh, you have that idea, I'm gonna invest. That's what they call angels, which means that somebody who have money but have no idea, but they will partner with you by developing your idea. And I don't know, there's a people who say that sometimes there is a crowdfunding, which means that people who usually that added their money together. We do that in our community, pooling our money together, but they call funding, ground funding, crowdfunding, what they call, I don't know what they call in English, but what they call is the solongo in our language, that putting their money together and they open there. They self-finance instead of going to the banks. Uh, sometimes you're surprised how little it takes to take some of the business out of the ground. So that's why I'm saying that if you want to open sushi shiner, hey, sometimes it takes a little money or have a determination. Sometimes people underestimate how resources they are themselves by opening the business. So sometimes you use run numbers in your mind and how you're gonna create those things. You know, you may find even that combination of so many other the investment, your shoe street, and the little loan from somebody that you know or your friend may take you to help you. What I'm saying to you is here is that you have to have a goal for your business. How you gonna um, open it? So you have a vision, and then you have a goal is to achieve it, and then work through it. Hard work. Those are what I'm saying to you. In order to get your business. So what I'm saying to you is sometimes you will know what's between you and your goals, how to get it. Sometimes you forget how resourceful you are by shoestring and all those things. So what I'm saying to you, you have to work, and also the options. What available options? There's so many options that are available to you that you don't know it because you never look around it and you never think it. So what I'm saying to you is that try. Um, the fourth step four is the choosing the business structure. Here, sometimes people don't even think that one. They don't see the structure in the beginning. In terms of the business, when you open it, that means having a license. People, when you go to the registry and registering your business and having a license to operate that, sometimes people don't know what's the option they are have it because, and there is several ways that you have to incorporate, and all it has to do with the liability. That's what I have to do. So what I mean is that when you open the small businesses, there is so many ways that you can you can uh, register. For example, you own your business. Is somebody say, I'm going to own this business and that's it. There's also partnership. You open somebody with a partnership. You and even your children can be partnership, or your wife can be partnership. Also, there is a limited liability company, which means that there is a company that is separate from you individual, but they incorporate solely as a link, which means that whatever that company is more independent than you are, or corporation. There is an explanation for each of those steps in this next one. The business entity you can choose will impact manufacturer from your business name to your liability to how you file your taxes. So those are the things that very important, is that when you operate in your business, is that you have to know that this is what it will impact you, and later on. For example, you may choose an initial business structure and then reevaluate. So that means that you can always change later on. Later on, when you realize what kind, because sometimes people have no clear idea what structure are they using. One person will say, okay, I'm going to open my own business as a solely, but later on somebody will come and say, oh, I want to partner with you. Then you have to get that person, their names into the business, because otherwise they may not even trust you. So that means you have a partnership. Then all that partnership will be depend on what the share will be. It is a 50-50, or it is a 60-40, or that's the partnership. So or maybe later on you decide, hey, partnership is very solely ownership is too risky, because if something happened to those business, that you will be liable. That means those money will come out of your business. That means if you have a house or car, yay, people want, those people who lend you money can or people who you owe money will have a way of seizing your asset. So those are the thing. It has a legal ramification. What kind of structure that you register. Again, depending on complexity of your business, it may worth investigating in consultation from attorney or CBA to ensure that you're making the right structure or twist. This is one of the things that people newcomers to Canada do that. They may think that they don't have money, to hire a lawyer or to have a consultation, and then they fail to do proper, investigation, and they made a mistake, and then later on they lost all the business because one mistake. I think the reason why the lawyers and the accountant is there is the reason. It's you either pay it right now upfront cost, or you will pay later when the thing that goes wrong. So it's very important. How many times is that people rent businesses, and then all of a sudden they didn't have they have a tiny thing. Somebody that the lawyer, the landlord hide it there, that those fine print, and then later on when you have argument, he say, hey, you signed this document because you didn't know. So that's the reason why it's better to invest upfront by consulting with a lawyer or CBA or somebody who have seen through, so that you don't lose your businesses or you'll be being sued. So those are the things very important. Step 5 is this is the time is when you did all those things. This is the middle, is a 5. Your business name play a role in almost every aspect of your business, so you want it to be a good one. So what I'm saying to you is that sometimes the name of your business become a tool for the promotion, or standing out, or people to recognize, or people know who you are, because sometimes names may not be clear to the people what you do, or sometimes the name you pick up make it clear to the people that what kind of business you're running. So that's the one. Sometimes is do that. Also, when you choose your name for your business, you will need to check if it's trademark or the current in use. Then you will need to register that, because what happens is that you cannot, if you choose a name by somebody using it, or the trademark, which means that the for example the arch of McDonald, that's a trademark. The Starbucks logo is the trademark. Tim Horton is the trademark. So what I'm saying to those are the trademark, even though they have a name of the business, but at the same time, the way they wrote it is the trademark. So how you cannot make something look like it. And if you find that the name you like it and you research it, register as soon as possible, because you never know next time that next minute somebody else will register that, because it's very important to you. Again, sole property must be registered their businesses names with either their state or the county clerk. Corporation. So what I'm saying to you is you can, this is happening in the state, or what I say instead of state, the province. In here, the corporation of or the limited partnership typically register their business name when the formation work is filed. which means that when you are filing with the register, here is called Alberta Service Alberta. Don't forget to register your domain name. This is the new kind of businesses, which means that when you choose to take that name and register, next time thing that you do is you have to register the domain, which means that you have to register with the internet, because this name, most of the people right now, you have to advertise or promote your businesses online. So if you have a name but you cannot register in the domain name, legal sometimes it's very difficult. When you have selected your name business, try this option. If you have an idea domain name is taken, even sometimes the domain you take it may not be your name, because somebody take your name, but the domain will be different than your names. Step 6 is getting license and permits. Those are very important, because it was hard way that some people think that you get a location without zoning, that you rent it from the landlord, and then you started doing something. I say before you rent, if you even take steps, go and find out the license and the permit that you needed to operate that specific businesses in that specific location, and what you needed, and you have to have it. Besides, if you get a, for example, contractor, make sure he has a license, because the city will not give you a license permit. When you finish that place, they ask you, who was your electrician? Who was your carpenter? Who was your plumber? Who was your health and fire inspection? Is it accepted these places for the specific business? What the zoning is? So what I'm saying to you is, you have to know before you take anything. When you register your businesses, this is the second thing. You have to do that, because if you don't do that, you will have your business ready to open, but you cannot open because the city say, who did your license? Because if the person who did it don't have a proper license with the city or the province, hey, you screw up. That means somebody has to come, pay that money. And by the way, we did that. When we opened business, all of us find out we cannot open because we don't have a person who did it there, because they're not gonna come and say, investigate the whole thing. They wanna, because that person who has a license have a liability if there is something screw up in the electricity or the plumbing or the carpenter. Because before you even do that, you have to have a design. That's the thing. The second thing that we forget, those people who are new to the country and cannot afford it. You have to have a design. That means that you either know somebody who know how to design the floor design, or you have to pay it hefty. The same thing as a license. Sometimes small even washroom, which is very simple, might run $3,000 because, hey, you don't know how to do it. So drafting, knowing who can draft for you the layout, the floor layout is very important. So the license and permits is very important. Paperwork is part of the process when you start. I mean, this is what it is. Small business license and permit is part of it. It's part of the hustle. And you know what? Some city and some province make it easier than the others to have those things. Edmonton is not one of them. I can guarantee you it's not one of them. So that's the one thing that I can guarantee you. Alberta is okay. The province-wise, they are okay sometimes, but the worst of the worst that I have to deal with the city. The federal, they're fantastic. For them, everything is online. But what they are different is that if you made a mistake, they will come after you like hell. So that means making it easier for you. They will say, oh, do you have that thing? And you may say, okay, I have it. And then something happened. Oh, they will come after you like a hawk. So making easier for two sometimes is not easy. It's better to deal with Edmonton than federal and make a mistake, because Edmonton, they make sure that they have everything. For example, that's what I'm saying to you. Starting up where you're going to locate, location, either for business purpose as well as the zoning. By the way, this presentation will be available on website of the Somali Canadian .com will be available. Or if you have a question, you can still call me and I'll explain to you some if you have a question. Again, this is where you have to receive the license and business permit that you need to apply for the startup process. 7, choose your accounting system. Well, you know, most of the business that I was doing, this wasn't in the picture, but it became necessary after there was opening. Because what happened is that after you want to do your taxes and GST and payroll tax and all those yard, wow, you need that, because you don't know which is which, because they will fine you if you don't follow the proper thing. So sometimes making mistake will cost you. So again, I said to you, you can pay upfront or later, which means upfront that you hire the proper. And if you know somebody that your friend or have an idea, because what happened is, one thing that I forget to tell you is that the province has as a business link that can answer some of those questions for you. So that means they can link you with the help, and the federal and the province, mainly federal, will pay for it. So that means that they have a consultant at hand that will work with you what you need. Sometimes it's a very challenging, because it takes a lot of times out of your schedule to have them give you proper answer. Sometimes I find difficult for them because they could not answer the question that you're looking for, because you may not know the question that you want to ask. They will not help you to answer that. And usually the problem with them is that the question they have is for the mainstream, not specifically people who are new to the country. They don't know how to deal with that. Sometimes you might find 1 or 2 who are racialized or people, but majority of them is for the mainstream. So it's frustrated, and sometimes you see it's irrelevant. But again, you might find the resourceful for having this kind of thing, because you cannot hire an accountant or the lawyer. Again, this is what I'm telling you. After you're running, this is one become easier for you to run, because that makes it easier for your business to run. Accounting system again, because what happened is that, as you know, you have to charge the GST to the customer, but at the same time, that money you collect, you have to submit to the province, to the federal. And also, if you pay GST out of your pocket, you will be reimbursed by the federal, because that's because of the businesses. So what happened is that people, because you have so many receipts and so many things, you don't know your bookkeeping may not be up to date. So some people, what they do is that they share the cost. That means that there's an accountant that will charge them fee for ongoing services. So that means paying monthly or a small fee, whatever you need, will be helping you. And also when you file in the taxes, either by individual, your own self, or the for the businesses. Hey, and by the way, sometimes the GST or some of the taxes or payrolls, you have to do quarterly. If you added WCB and also add the employment insurance and health, well, it's even worse than that. So we invest in a good accountant, or knowing somebody who can do the account. is that it become handy. Again, it's necessary to manage your money and your budget and everything, and the rate and the price, conduct a business with other, and filing your taxes. Again, that's what was filing tax. Sometimes if you are good with the hand, you can buy a accounting software and set up yourself. Hiring, that's another way, but you can also, if you are, but it takes a lot of times and a lot of careful, and also good bookkeeping. So what I'm saying to you, can do, there is a software that available that can do that. And also that, you know, BOS, business BOS, point of sales, sometimes they have a software attached to that business of that will do that for you at the end of the day. So that means that you have each day accounting, I mean the bookkeeping that will allow you to do the thing that you will do as an accountant. So if you do that, you are fine. It will become handy. That's why I'm saying some of the skills that you acquire or you have it may be handy by having it when it comes to running the business. Again, the software, sometimes you need people to consult who was the best. Taking courses also, it will help you if you don't even know the accounting. I think Northwest have a good, for example, accountancy. You could take one course. Is a good investment to have them, because you're going to be in the business. So whether you use it for business or purpose or the personal, it will become handy. Also, there is an accounting courses for the non-profit organization. Also, they have that. So that's what's very important. Number 8 is, again, this is the location. Sometimes it become, in the beginning, after you research the business, location, or sometimes you think everything else, but you put aside for the location, because all doing those things will all come to the location. But sometimes people look the location first after they think about the business, and then they walk through that. Well, if you have because sometimes people have a mistake and they lease the place before they do that. So that means that the expense or the rent will be ongoing while they have nothing. So that become an added cost to their business startup. But right now, when you have a location and you did everything, that means when you have a location and you rent and you lease the place, that means you can start working on there and fixing and making habitable for your business. Important. What I'm saying to you is that means that again, you have to operate. I mean, if it's the professional business that you want to open, you're ready, because you rent the office and you put all those equipment that you need, and you can rent. Sometimes you share with it, with the business, but that's the services. If you have it, that means if you are providing service to the people, that means that it's sometimes you think about the share costing, share offices and share resources and share equipment or internet on everything. Sometimes become handy. Or if you are retail, sometimes you can share with another retail with different business, but that be comparable with that business that you open it with. And there's so many times that you will see that you rent the corner of the spaces and you sell that. So that's one thing. So the location, that's what it is. And by the way, people nowadays, people stand alone business is very difficult. That means having a business someplace that has no attachment. One thing is, for example, having a business in the same time, the same area, create a business but for themselves. That means the people will go
they want to go to restaurant, they will go specific or the specific. That's why you have go to the shopping, because they have, you will see some variety stores have the same thing, but opposite of each other. And you say, how can they run this one? They have this one, but because people have a choices, and but the people are also coming to there to have a choice. So having a business, getting more than one reason to come that person to that place is very important. It's very handy. So if you can share with the location with other businesses, that will be added bonus. Again, this is what I'm saying, to buying or leasing your commercial spaces. Wow, boy oh boy, this leasing. That's one of the catches. You need a lawyer, and also you have to know what to lease. Sometimes go there and people think that, oh, if I don't release right now, maybe somebody will take it. If you using my advice, I would say you better lose that place than picking up, and then later on you may not have a license of the capability, because you are liable to pay in the rent in that place. So hey, buying it is even worse than that, because nowadays you have to consider environmental evaluation. That's added bonus, added cost to them that. So even banks may not even nobody's even thinking about the investment before doing the environmental assessment. So it used to be, how many times, I think a couple of months ago, there were places in the south side that people didn't know who was buying, but they find out it used to be a gas station. So reclamation happened, but the people still, the value of the place is still less than the prime one. The people bought the place because they were thinking the prime, but it failed to have a environmental assessment. So that's very important. Even if you're buying a house, that's a very important. Step 9, get your team together, which means that who's gonna run with you? Are you gonna buy an existing business that you will hire somebody to do that, or you will do yourself, or you will be the family, or the people who will develop your places, plumbers, the contractors, and those things? You have to know that. You have to get ready and start. This is what I'm saying to you. It's hiring somebody, but most of the businesses that I was associated was related to hire somebody. It was family business, or the people who are become a partnership, or those things. So, but if you are hiring a bigger business that needed human resources, you have to know the employees, and it's very challenging. One time I went to the Africa, and one of the problems was the challenging with the African was that you cannot find a competent a person that trustworthy, or you cannot find a trustworthy person who are competent. So you either get lazy person but who's trustworthy, or you get a competent but who is thief. So that was one of the challenges that we have. One time I've seen friend who somebody who's working in the meat department, and when the employee was getting out, there is a blood stepping out of his shoes because he tried to hide meat in his bucket. So that's, you could see that. So I'm saying to you is that this is very important, but most of the people, they fail that, they have a competent and skillful person. The only people that I've seen have that skills, it was the family member who's willing to do that. So that's one of the things. If you if you're hiring the process, we have to think before that, because what happens is when you open, if you don't have a people ready to run it, that's all. Sometimes if you even open in service or professional office, that's very important. Because, by the way, one thing that most of our people fail is that you could open the doctor office, or you could open clinic, or you could open what they call pharmacy or the chiropractic or any business, medical, everything. Why? Because you have to hire people who will run. If you have an office for medical office, you don't have to be doctor, but you have to have a lawyer. You have to have a doctor, medical doctor. That means you have to hire him because you are the one who paying for it. It's the same time as if you want to have a law office, you have a lawyer. So those are the things that I'm talking about the hiring. When you providing, if you want to have provide whatever service you want to provide, and the person is professional, you hire them. So that's what it is. Because it's a part of the startup cost. It's a startup thinking. Yeah, again, this is what you can do then. Sometimes you outsource some of the services. One of the things that we keep doing is the pest control company. We outsource them. So that means they came in, they check the place, they make sure that there's no pest there. So when the city or the province come in there to check it, we give them card of the company that did that. If they find a pest there, hey, it's not the problem of the company because we already hired. So that sometimes your outsourcing works for you. Also the same thing I was talking about CPA, accountant. You may share, you outsource them. So you pay them monthly or by contingency, and they do that. Or sometimes they do that research for you to find out how you're gonna get the supplier. They do the research for you. They will find where's the best place to get it and cheapest and the quickest supplier for your business. So sometimes it works to look outsourcing, because hiring them is it's out of your maybe out of your reach. Yes, this team, they do that. Service, you go to Ghost Resources. That's what I'm saying, to having a company that, there's a company specialized that they have multiple services in their disposal, so that you have a contract with them. So when you need a lawyer, you have a lawyer. When you need a accountant, you have one, your researcher. So that's what I'm saying to you. They also, when you need insurance, when you need a security camera, when you need some of the dresses, there's the company who does that. Also the company outsourcing is the people who do the cleaning. You never know. The cleaning was the hardest thing to do. By doing that, you have been working whole day and you try to clean it. It's very difficult, and you may fail when maybe you skip some of the places. The next morning, the health guy will show up and you'll be in trouble, and maybe somebody shut down your business. The last one is promoting your business. This is what the people fail, is promoting. You have to have a strategy to get people in your businesses. You have to. I don't care, otherwise don't open it. Don't open it, because what happens is you're wasting your money, because nobody's gonna buy you. And you have to create a reason why those people come to you. Either you have a multiple service, or you have a unique services, or you are best how you present or make it nice. I don't care how you do it. This is the thing that you have to think first before you even think about the business. Again, when is your business up running, you need to start attracting clients. That's what I'm saying to you. You have to get people in your business. You want to start with the basis of by writing unique selling point, proposal, whatever you need with, create a marketing plan. By the way, the best people who have a market plan is the people that you have in your circle that you want to attract. For example, if you're selling something that toward the children, start with your children. They will really tell you how to attract. I don't know if you go to the malls, when you go with the small children, they put the stuff for the children in the front and in the lower thing. That's by design. So when you get your kid, first thing they will do is they grab the thing that they see that. That's the design. The other thing that they do is What? Look, the milk and the bread. Where do they always located? Go to the supermarket. They always believe the last one because they want you to go through, because the milk is a necessity. You have to buy it. So you have to go all the way. I mean, superstore. Look at it. What they call the Costco. All of them, they put the milk and the eggs and the necessary thing in the back so that you go through it. But the thing that you don't want, they put in front because they want you to buy it and grab it. That's what I'm saying to you. And by the way, the companies who have a product, they have a prime, they always buy the prime location so that they pay extra or the discount to place their product in a display that when you get in, they put there. It's by design. So it's a whole new thing they're promoting, but you have to have a strategy for it. If you cannot afford it to hire it, go within the community. And yeah, right now, the young people are very, very savvy, and we underestimate how much resource we can find in our own even houses. But marketing is by targeting. That's what my point is. And the people you are, whether it's the old person, 60 and above, or 65 and 25, or 25, 35, or teens, by teens and younger, is by design. Yes, there is several ways that you can get. I mean, the books and a strategy that you can use to get those one as to promote effectively your businesses. So that means that right now, when you do those 10 steps, you almost cover your basis of starting up your business. So. So what I'm saying to you is right now is running is the next one. Again, your expectation has to be reasonable. What time you think that your success will come? You better have a reasonable expectation rather than lower expectation. And all of a sudden, when you cannot meet, you frustrate yourself. And then when you frustrate, that's the beginning of the downhill. I mean, the failure. So you lower your expectation by how long will take you succeed. If you say, oh, I'm gonna successful in the first month, I will be getting enough people get in there and will be successful, and nobody show up. Yay, that's yuck. It's a very, very, very disappointing. So that means that your success, if you be reasonable and lower the thing that you may not happen the way you design, will save you some frustration. That's that 10 steps is the general one. So it doesn't have a specific places, but that's a general one that you can use it as a standard for opening business. But also I realize each province and each municipality has own local specific thing. So I included this presentation by, if you want to open some in Alberta, this is what I find out. For example, again, it's the same thing. Using your form of businesses, you go to the Service Alberta, and then they will tell you and ask you which one you want to register your business name. It may not give you the choices of researching, but they assume that you already research your name and the business and all that. But this is which form they started the form in the business. What they gonna ask you is what jurisdiction you will have. Will you have municipality come under the province, but you can register professionally, or you can register federally. Internationally, that's a different story. We don't want to go there. That's different. But that's what I'm saying. So the corporation are also required to file, because the reason why is jurisdiction is very important is that it has to be taxed. We're talking about money. So each one want to file in, want to protect their file, their business. And by taxing, and you know, taxing, the succession of the rules of the business by which one you want to provide. For example, if you want to, couple of times when we try to register federally, it's easier. But which profit are you going to operate? Because tax purposes, that means if you located, your head office is located here in Alberta, but you operate in Toronto and in Ontario, you're considered that you're Albertan. This is the company that operating in Alberta because their head office is in Alberta. Those are the things that I find out. It has different rules. Again, this is what it is: sole partnership, proprietorship. That means if you want to have your own business by yourself, and there's a form that you have to fill out. The sole ownership is fully responsible for debt. This is what I was talking about. The reason, what kind of way you wanna form. The sole ownership is full responsibility for debt, contractual obligation, and liability. That means if whatever happened in that business is your personality, that means you will pay for it. That means if something liability, you are liable by you. That means whatever you own will be liable. So if somebody you owe money, they kind of have to come to you and seize your house, and you seize your your whatever you have, asset you have. For example, yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. Is for example, contractor can claim the business ownership. That's what I'm saying to you. They can claim whatever. Profit or taxes are personal income. You mean is that whatever you raise from the business is considered your income. So that if you're working for another company and getting income, and you are profiting something from this business, but you're not investing yourself, they don't care. That money will combine, and you have to pay taxes. It's the best way, again, investing upfront, which means consulting with a lawyer. You know, what's the implication of the tax? Partnership, this form is the same thing, but this time is because you're not alone, but you have a person that you agree, whether your wife is or your kid or somebody else's. That's what it is. So, but it's still liability is still between you and the person who you're partnering with. Yeah, so that means there is an agreement between the person. That means profit sharing and liability sharing. Those are the things that will happen. Partnership Act has default profit sharing. That's when the management and scheme, but the person can agree to other arrangements. So that means that how they're gonna run their business is something agreement between the partners. That means whether it's one individual or several people who invested together, but they share the profit as well as a responsibility, and they are liable. So if there is a claim against the creditors, they will go after all of them, not only one person, but they will go all over them. So again, they have a different partnership also. General partnership, all partner manage the business and can be held personal liability. That's what I'm talking about. Or their partner debt or contractual obligation liability. Those are the things that I was talking about, partnership. Limited partnership, yeah, that's also somebody create the businesses, but you came in, you only in partner because you invest. There is a limited liability there. So sometimes that the liability by first person may not be the same as that next one. So that's what I'm saying to you. And general partner manage business and accept the liability. So that means if I run in the business and own it, I have more responsibility liability than the naked person who invested. Yeah, you only contributed, you're not running, you're not managing, you only contribute the capital. And liable only you are up to. So that's what I'm saying to you. If I say I'm gonna contribute $100,000, that's my limited liability. That means I can only be liable up to $100,000. I mean, that's what I'm saying to you. But the person who running, managing, even if the debt is 1 million, he is still liable. Limited liability in partnership. This form limited professional. Those are the lawyers and those the dentists and those are what they see. Lawyers and the accountant are those ones. And usually they are responsible for their own debt and obligation and any negligence or whatever, because they will buy their insurance, they will buy their liability, whatever they do. That means if the doctor, they have several doctors and one of them committed, there's a mistake or negligence, the client or whoever those people who have been wrong cannot come after the company. They come after that person because that person is liable for his is limited to the other people. That's what I'm saying to you. So that means that he will be responsible, but the other people are not. Cooperation is what. Having a corporation, it has the problem, it has the benefit. Benefit of corporation is that there is a shareholders, and there is the way to follow that. And there is a memorandum understanding, there is what I'm saying to you, there is a law governing. You cannot use as a personal. So, and this problem is that, but the benefit is that it will limit, it will shield the problem from you. So if there is a bankruptcy in that corporation, it may not explicit to you, or that means you may not be liable personal, so that they cannot come after your asset or your money. It's transferable. So that means that that company can be transferred to somebody else, and sometimes. That's why big companies, you're talking about, they hire a CEO and the person who founded leave the company, but still company they operate and they owned it or they own share of it, but still it's a corporation. So that's what it is, the corporation. Corporation must be also, that's what I'm saying to you, they have to file taxes separate from their ownership. So that means that they cannot, the tax, which means that the corporation is what filing. Before I go any further, can everybody hear me good, or am I, is there, am I doing okay? That's what I want to ask you, because I never ask the review, the people who listen, because you're muted. I want to see the feedback from the Angela.
Yes, hi.
How am I doing so far?
You are doing great. We have until 7. You can keep going or end here. It's up to you.
Okay, no, I want to find out if the other people. So right now, I almost finished. I have only a couple of to go. The jurisdiction is just another thing, which means I already covered some of it, which means that the corporation can be governed either federally or provincially. There is a different way of rules must be followed. And that's what I'm saying to you. Whether you are registering federally or provincially, there is a law covering that. Because the federal, if you register federally, you could operate different provincial. But if you are only registered one province, that means you cannot. Or if you want to operate another province, you have to register yourself. So that's a differential by jurisdiction, or which one you want to register by yourself. Again, the corporation has to return, has to file the annual, which means that every 12 months. In addition, the corporate tax, there's also corporate tax. The return and the taxes are totally different. The sole propriety and the partnership are governed by provision. This is where the, if I own the business by self, I can only register the profession, or if you have a proprietorship, also you can only register a professional. Again, this is what I was talking about. It's related to the headquarters and where you can do business. That's what name you can choose for your business, how they protect your business name. And I will find, because what happened is that if you register here in province and have the name here in province, somebody can go and open the same name and same brand, everything in Ontario or Saskatchewan. But if you register federally, that will protect you to a person to register in any of those federally, because you operate in federally. So that's also have the problem. So what I'm saying, again, a lawyer usually knows that, but that's what I'm saying to you. You do the either upfront or you do later. Name, this is the similar, we do that. That's if you do opening, it's the same thing that we covered earlier. What it gives Alberta is they look you and they ask you to choose a unique one, because that will help make sure that you don't, again, copy existing businesses or infringe the opening, another business. And this we covered earlier. Usually what I'm saying to you in Alberta, or even federally, when you find a name that you think about it, before you do anything, that you have to do the noun search. That means you do Alberta. If you want to do it by Alberta, you go to the registrar where they will do the driver license, and they will run through it. If you're federally, there is an online place. It only costs you $20. The Alberta service is called, I think, $46, $48. That will give you a name before you register that. Then when you get the name, then that's what you are, you register. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. When you have a corporation, the name of the corporation have, they share, when you're registering, it's a share entity. So shareholders and is considered as the person as under the law. So the shareholder is as a person. The name of the Alberta Corporation. Yes, this is what I'm saying to you. When you are naming your business, there is a three distinct description and the legal. For example, my company, which is Taccalusa Institute Incorporated, Taccalusa is a distinct. Institute is a description. Inc. is the legal. So that's the three names. So when you are searching, they will ask you, you have to consider that the first name, which is, you could call yourself as the Mahamad or Accord, whatever. That's a distinctive. Descriptive is that whatever follow, what did I do? I do these things. And then what's the last name is what's the legal? Is it the corporation? Is it the limited liability? That's what it is in Alberta when you're registering your names. Again, distinctive unique names. That means that Taccalusa, my organization, or Somali Canadian, Somali is a distinct. Canadian is the description. That's what I'm saying. And or community, Canadian cultural is also a description. Again, descriptive is what the business does, what the business does. And additional, according to, yes, Service Africa, you only have legal element at the end of it. That's what I'm saying to you. You have to have a legal element. So for example, Somali Canadian cultural society is the legal. So because it has to have a society in order to have that registered as under the society. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, or example include limited or LTD or corporation, corp or ETC Inc. Those are one thing too. So that, for example, that shows that there is a limited liability. So that if you invest in this business, there's no liability to the person who's operating. That's what the means is. There's sometimes the business registration, they assign numbers. So you will see 647 Alberta Limited. Sometimes they register that that they use. I don't know why, but sometimes they do that, which is Alberta always from the second part, which is legal element. So what I'm saying to Alberta as a legal, and this is the names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a name. Alberta is where it is, and limited is a legal element. So sometimes when you're looking for noun, they also list names that not only if they find the name similar to that, they will find it, but also they listed the names close to it. So that means that if there is a name close to it, sometimes the registrar will say to you, well, you cannot register, or otherwise you have to get a permission from that person in order to use that. So sometimes it creates all that also problem. Federal is the same. When you're researching, they always come up with that thing. If they find out similar, they won't accept the research, but if they accept your name, they will also run in the names that closely. So when you if you wanna register, sometimes you may run into the problem because they will say, okay, this is similar to that business, so they don't wanna infringe the other people's business. License permit regulation. In addition to the registering your business, you may need a municipal, professional, or federal business license. That's what I was telling you. When you open the business, you have to consider how many licenses that you need and which jurisdiction that you need from it, and you have to adhere. Otherwise, they come after you. Again, if you want to open something in the municipality, Edmonton, first talk to the municipality. You will be operating in the finding out what regulation applies to you. Then check with the province and then federal regulation. You may want to get advice from the lawyer or accountant to make sure that you don't have everything covered. That means that you're not liable, or you're not in a legal limbo. Because legal issue is costly, it's a hassle. You don't want to go there. Almost all the business will require some kind of municipality. That means anywhere you operate in as a city, you have to have a license. That's where they start in. And usually it becomes zoning and has to do with the fire code and all those things. And also the health. Many industry will require a license and permit. So that means if you are operating some business like a daycare, you need a professional. They have guidelines, so you can purchase from the Alberta Queen Printer. They have the guidelines, and also you can find in Alberta online. Sometimes sometimes it's very big list. You cannot print it, so sometimes you better buy it because it's cheaper for you than printing. Some federal will also have adherent to federal regulation, say the fishing or some of the drug, some of the business, you may need a federal license, or if you are importing, exporting, certain even product, you have to have a license for it. Some professional and trades has also you have to need a license, such as accounting, law, electrician, and also other professional body. If you need that, because otherwise, like a medical doctor opening, you have to have a license in order to do that. Again, it comes to end. There is so many other areas that I would like to emphasize, but the current time that we have, even though I almost ran it, there's other ways. So maybe we may have another session where I go some of the area more details, especially it has to do with the finding the contractors and the license, but because that costs you more than any other way of the other businesses. That ends our our workshop, I'd like to I'd like to get your feedback as well. And if you have any question, you still can direct to the Somali Canadian Cultural Society. I will answer any question you have.
So are we done here?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just say one last thing. So, on behalf of the Somali Canadian Cultural Society of Edmonton, we'd like to thank you, Mr. Accord, for sharing your knowledge and insights with us. If you enjoyed the session, please feel to join us for more upcoming workshops in the coming weeks. This information can be found on both our website, somaliedmonton.com, and our Facebook page. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope that you gain new knowledge about making business decisions and hope to see you all at our future workshops soon. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, I still that you can either contact me, and all the information that I provided is still available. They will be available at the website. And if you have more questions, you still can contact with the Canadian Somali Canadian Cultural Society, and they can keep in contact with me if you ever thinking opening or operating business.
Yep. Does anybody else have any other questions? Nope, I think we're good for now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.